Hello YouTube, today at powerjackrepair.org we got a Asus GA502d Republic of Games GA502DU-BR7N6. Came in for two problems. One problem is the connector. People have to wiggle jiggle the connector to make the system work all the time. Let me change the gloves. We'll drop those to the washing machine. Those are much cleaner for me. Alright, so the client had to wiggle jiggle the plug to make the system work. We got a replacement plug right here. We sell the replacement plugs on the website. The link is below. And the situation here is this. The board takes a lot of heat. So when you're trying to heat this area up, all of the components on the other side are starting to fall off the motherboard. The number one component that falls off the motherboard the most is this guy. Right here, this guy. It's just sits on the surface and it just falls off. So the situation is that you need to insulate this area. You need to insulate that area right there. And you need to insulate this area. So if you're gonna plan to do it yourself, before you mess anything up, just please watch this video. And the board came in also with the battery connector ripped off the motherboard. You see, those two pads are missing right here, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna combine it in two videos, but I will try to fix this guy as well as replace this guy as well. So how to take it apart, we have the video on our channel. I'm sure about it. We got 1000+ videos. I'm sure we have one of those. But this one is about how to insulate it properly so that you wouldn't mess this whole thing up, because sometimes people start to work on it themselves and then they just say, you know, let's send it to this guy. The most important stuff is don't mess up this connector here. This connector is fixable usually. So let me see if I can fix both issues. So now, usually I'm just gonna use a high temperature tape like that for the insulation purposes. But in this particular case, I'm just gonna use the foil because it's not gonna lift up this connector of the motherboard when there's gonna be too much heat in there. Instead, it's just gonna cover the area from the excess heat that's gonna be applied there. So the way to keep this guy in place, it's not a sticky one, it's just a foil. What I'm gonna do is I'll make sure foil basically grabs onto everything around the connections and remove the excess foil. Rub the foil around the motherboard a bit. All right. And that way we protect the whole area pretty much like that. Okay, once it's all foiled up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some Kapton tape. Kapton tape is a tape that doesn't let the hot air to go through, and it's gonna keep an extra layer of thermal protections against the components here. Okay, so that's that here. And then I'm just gonna use that high temperature tape on this ledge right here, because I know that those components are gonna hold quite much better. Well, I have to cover them first because they're not being covered yet right now. Let's see. Yep, we're just gonna insulate it like that. Insulate it like that. Beautiful. 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 Yeah. Good job. Wrap this guy around. Right. Now we're just gonna tape this guy over. We're gonna make sure that this tape doesn't get lifted up. All right. And we're gonna use more of the high temperature tape on this component here. Alright, so the insulation is the key here, because otherwise you're going to spend the entire day trying to reflow every single component back onto the motherboard. Because this connector is not that easy to take off, and if you don't have the hot air station, you're probably not even going to be able to take it off the motherboard. Don't try to cut the legs off, because once you cut the legs off, it's going to be a lot harder to get the connector off the motherboard. Because sometimes what people do is they just start cutting the connector of the motherboard, leg here, leg there, and eventually you can't really do much about that connector. I mean, I could still fix pretty much anything, it's gonna make my life a lot more complicated than it has to be. Alright, so everything is here like that. I wanna put a Kapton tape right here so that the board won't be warming up right where the components are at. So like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some flux to the connections here. We're gonna add some leaded base solder. The leaded base solder gonna mix with the unleaded base solder. And we're gonna use the hot air on top of it. And we're gonna be using the soldering iron to drop this connector off the motherboard. And we're gonna install the new connector in place. Let me show you how to do this. So we put some PPE on. We are switching to 7mm gloves because the fumes might penetrate, fumes from the flux, fumes from the leaded base solder might penetrate a 4mm or 5mm. You see, it's already, the chemicals are already on the glove. All right, so let's power up the hot air station. Just a tiny bit. And then we're gonna start adding the leaded base solder. You see how much fumes coming from the leaded base solder? All of that you don't want to inhale. So safety is the most important thing in the United States. So we are adding a whole bunch of leaded base solder in order to mix it with the unleaded base solder. All right, so once we mix everything up, we should be able to just drop this guy from the motherboard. There is a tons of flux. Flux doesn't let everything to solidify right away. Alrighty. Alright. Like that. And like that. So we're gonna reduce the hot air down to 4 from 6 out of 8. And we're gonna just try and desolder pick up all of the solder from the motherboard. All right. Now I guess I need to add a little bit more heat because stuff just doesn't want to come out. Come on. Nope. Doesn't want to come out. Yeah, the mistake was I reduced the hot air too much. And the unleaded base solder just doesn't want to come out of the... Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add more solder here, more solder there, more right there, more right there, right there, right there, and right there. Once I added more solder, it's gonna mix a lot better with the old solder. And using the hot air, we are able to nope, we're not able to do anything here. Let me increase the hot air temperature. All right, so you see once everything is increased, the solder flows much better. Yep, like that. Like that. All right, let's move the board a little bit. Alrighty, and we got just a few more holes to okay, good job. You don't want to overheat the end of the motherboard because that's where all the parts that are gonna keep dropping on the other side. All right, here we're gonna go under right there. Alrighty, and like that. Good job. And excellent. Excellent. All right, let's flip the board over. Let's flip the board over. And let's try to get the solder out of the guy right there. Let's add some flux so that everything, oh shoot. You see? Just put my finger onto the hot air and burn it through the glove. Anyways, here. Let's see if you can just put the let's see if we can just put the soldering wick on top of the little hole right there. Let's make sure that the heat is flowing the right way. All right, I just want to make sure that the hole is through and through. Let's see. Yeah, the hole is through. Okay, good job. Let's shut down the hot air. You see how everything is nice and clean. All of the holes are nice and empty. So what I want to do now is I want to remove the insulation tape and see if any of the components flew off the motherboard. Already, I inspected every single component that are known to fly off the motherboard in the nearby area. Just want to make sure that every single hole is nice and empty. Yep, it's all nice and empty. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring a new connector. All right, so here is the new connector. right here. That's the old connector, that's the new one. So we're gonna, before we're gonna put it in there, what we wanna do is we wanna put some flux right here, right here, right here, and right here. Close up the connection here and drop this guy in place right there. Okay, next thing what we want to do is we want to stabilize it in place. And to stabilize it in place, we need to hold down the connector. And we are holding down the connector like that. We're just gonna add some solder while it's sitting on top, and I'm just putting pressure on the top, down motion, and I don't want to mess up the nearby components right there. So be extremely careful when you're doing the rear leg, and better don't even do the rear leg. Better just do the front two legs and do the rear leg later on. All right, so here everything's flowing nice and easy. Excellent. Yeah, I don't want to be doing any more soldering on this side. Well, maybe the rear leg right there could be soldered as well. The most rear one, because it's easy access here. Otherwise, all other legs are having a hard access from this side. But we have a plenty of free room to work around on this side. So the key for the solder to penetrate everything inside is a lot of flux. Flux will help everything penetrate into the board quite nicely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do the positives like that. Right, we're just gonna do this guy, and we're gonna do this guy right there. Let's do the negatives. All right, let's do this side. Let's do that side. All right. Okay, good job. Excellent. 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 Good. I like what I see here. Let's flip this guy over. And I don't like what I see on this side. What I see on this side is we need to still solder the rear two pins here. One right there and one right there, but it has to be really careful job. So let's try from the back. Solder the two rear pins, two center pins in the back. I will show you everything under the microscope in a second. All right, so I soldered that one. Solder this guy. Alrighty. All right, so the goal is not to touch any other components nearby, and that mission is not really that possible. All right. All right. I'm not even gonna, well, no, I'm not even gonna bother with this. It's a support leg. It's soldered on the bottom. I'm not gonna solder it on the top simply because there are too many components that might get damaged, and it's still gonna hold much better because it's a handmade soldering job. So it's gonna hold much better than the factory job. So let's clean up all of the stuff here. All right. Excellent. Yeah. Alrighty. All right. Let's clean up everything on this side here. All right, guys, if the video was useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I will let you know which laptop models I would spend my money on and which ones I wouldn't spend my money on. I'm not gonna tell you explicitly which one you should buy. I'm just gonna say which one I would think about buying. Anyway, so you see how much chemicals are being left on my 7mm gloves. and hopefully nothing got penetrated into the gloves, because all of that goes into your skin. See, I'm not sure if you can see, but that's lots of cancer causing chemicals. I mean, you don't know what's inside of that flux. Pretty much it's all made in China. Again, that's the old jack, that's the new one. All right, so the next thing we need to take care of is this the battery connection. Right, let's figure out what we can do about that. All right, so here we got the damage traces for the soldering for the battery. Let's try and remove those. I position this guy like that, I assume. Oh, all right, so here, let's remove whatever we can remove here. All right. Yeah, so all of the pads came off. I know, I need to flux this area up. Let's flux it up. All right. All right. Let's continue removing all of the extra solder from the pads. And they don't get really, I guess. Right, yeah, so the two missing traces, I'm pretty sure I would be able to correct those missing traces, hopefully. For some reason, nothing, just stuff doesn't want to get soldered. So let's add some solder there first, see what the problem is. All right. Let's add some solder here, here, here. All right. All right. And a little bit more. All right, now let's try to desolder it again. All right, much better. There are, it seems like, remains of some stuff left in there. So that's the reason why nothing really. All right, so once we clean all the pads, we got two damaged pads right here. My understanding, one is the positive side, another one is the negative sides, and the two missing pads. Hopefully gonna be able to run a wire to the. All right, and we got missing pad here, which is probably no big deal. Probably. It could be, but probably no big deal. All right, let's figure out what we got in terms of the connector. All right, so let's remove the connector like that. So the thing is, you have to slide this guy backwards that way, away from the connection, and then take it off the motherboard. So once you And I showed that many times in many videos that I made for this model, for similar models basically, maybe this one as well. So here, like that, okay. So let's remove this connector from that connector. And let's see if we can remove the connector altogether, because there is really no way I can solder all of that, assuming, oh, we can remove it, okay. So that's a good thing, we can probably remove this guy altogether. Can we? Remove the connector altogether? No! No! Was the connector broken or was it not broken? That's the question. Ay, 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 ay. No, I didn't. So I guess the connector was cracked in place. And I shouldn't have tried to remove the bracket to begin with. Well, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, it's probably broken in place because right there is the crack. Let's see if we can assemble this guy back together. Like that. Yeah, we can. But how am I gonna solder this thing if that bracket is on top? Yeah, I am not quite sure. I mean, maybe we can just close this connection altogether. Let's see if we can close it down. Oh wait, there is one leg missing from the whole thing. Wow, how is it gonna work then? So one of the cells not gonna charge? That's the situation, I guess. Anyways, let's see if I can close it down. Alright, so I can close it down, but there is no way a soldering iron gonna reach in there. I'm clueless here. Alright, I'm seriously at a loss. I got the connector, which is cracked on the bottom. Let's see if we, well, maybe I can maybe I can solder half of it to the board and then the other half as well. Let's remove this let's remove this. Yeah, I mean, you would never know that the connector itself is broken. Yeah. This repair gonna take a while. Anyway, so let me separate all of that and then get to the point. All right, so we got one half right here. Like that. Like that, like that, like that. And... so those are the remaining legs of this connector. Okay. I got it now. Here. So we can align it like that. Right? All right, now that I aligned it, let's rotate the board a little bit. All right, the good thing is we got those two guys right where we need it to be. Once they align, because they're right on the broken pads. So those two are the broken pads that are part of the connector now. If I want to move it slightly this way. like that. All right, looks good to me. Okay, looks like that. Let me see if I can solder this guy up. Kind of not exactly something I do every day, but maybe something we're gonna be able to. It's much easier to solder the complete connector instead of just one of them. All right. Nothing I can do here really because it's a broken pad. Oh, maybe I can just, well, yeah, you see, the broken pad came right off. And let's see if we can. Well, yeah, anyways, let's see if we can solder this remaining connector on. And the problem is, if I figure out how it was broken, where exactly was it broken at, I would be able to match this guy up. Maybe it's underneath there. Strange, the connectors don't align. Maybe needs to go under. Yeah, I think it needs to go under. I like that. Hey, what did fall underneath there? Oh, I already forgot that this guy is not connected there. Okay, like that. Yeah, probably gonna be like that. No? Nope. No, why did I sign up for it? No, the client called and said they broke the piece. And I basically gave them a quote like, listen, don't worry. I just didn't expect that this thing gonna be broken in a way. All right, looks like that is a way to connect it. Let's see. Nope, at an angle. Oh, like that maybe. Hold on, like that? Yeah, it could be like that, right? It just, I am tilting it. So it's probably like that. And depends on how you tilt it. All right, I see. All right. So it depends on how you tilt it. Let me hold it down. Let me bring in the soldering iron. Yeah, it would help if I would have another hand in here. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Let me see. All right. Looks good. Let me. Yeah. Yeah, looks good. So what I wanna do is I wanna put some hot glue around it, but before I'm gonna use the hot glue, I need to finish up those two guys right here. I need to solder this guy, and the way I'm gonna solder it is by scratching this pad a little bit. Oh, no, I'm just gonna run the wire from here to there. It's gonna be much easier. Let's do like that. All right, let's see if I can get it done right here. And like that. And like that. Let's see. Nah. All right, let's try one more time. Okay, good job. All right, and let's rotate the other end towards this guy. All right, good job. Now let's cut. All right. Let's do exactly the same thing one more time. Come on. Go up there. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna disconnect this clamp. All right, so the clamp is disconnected. Let's see if we can guide the wire upwards. You know what, not this one. Let me use the other hand right here. So this is one of the data signals right here. Okay, so let's hope that this whole thing gonna just get soldered together the way it should. All right. Looks good. Alrighty. Let's cut it off. All right. So we got just one more leg missing, and the sides are not really holding anything down. So the goal here is hopefully to hot glue the connector from the left side, the right side, probably a little bit from the rear side, which I'll have to do it right now. Let me put some alcohol on it right now so that there would be some place to hot glue it to. All right, I will let it dry. And remove this dust stuff out of here. Now the goal is not only to power up the laptop because we already replaced the connector, but also for the battery to start charging eventually. I'm thinking maybe there's an excess of wire right there, which is really no big deal, but I just want to put it right where it needs to be at. So my goal will be to put some glue right here, then put the metal bracket right there, then connect the battery, and then short those two pins on the battery so that they would still work, because that seems to be either the positive connection or the negative connection, whatever. They have to hold. But the first thing I need to do is put some hot glue. All right, my friends, the plan was good to put this metal bracket in and put some hot glue around it, but once you start pouring the hot glue, it goes all over the place and it's impossible to direct it to the place where I want it to be at. So my situation is this. We're gonna put all of those guys here, and I guess I need to remove some extra hot glue right there. Let me see first if it's gonna go in. It does go in. It does go in here. Maybe some shavings on this side. It goes in and it stays there really well. All right. I'm surprised that everything is... Oh yeah, I can move some hot glue to the sides a little bit. I hot glued the rear pins as well, so that everything would be nice and stable here. So in theory, that's all I need to do, but in practice the problem is we got one pin missing right here, and if you got one pin missing right there, we need to do something about it. And something about it gonna be to do something about this wire that's missing. What we are gonna do to it, that's the question, and that's the positive. That's a positive end. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 1, 2, 3 cells. All right, so each cable is for one cell. If we not gonna feed the voltage to that cell, that means either there's not gonna be enough voltage to power up the laptop, or the laptop simply gonna be dying sooner. So what's the point of people paying me for the repair of this connector if the the battery gonna charge probably. So we have to deal with the red wire right here. And what they did, they put some hot glue on that red wire, so there is no way for me to do anything about it. I mean, I was thinking I could pull it out of the connection, but I can't pull it out of the connection. All right, so I guess we just have to do some micro soldering. My problem is that yeah, this all gonna be like not really the way I want it to be. Maybe I should just strip the two wires right there and connect them together by the wire. That's probably gonna be a much more solid repair than ruining the connector on the top by bridging the two pieces together. Even though that's a solution as well. But I think the cabling, doing the cuts on the cable is probably more. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm stripping the wires slightly right here. Alright, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solder them together so that they would be bridged together. I wanna make sure that I'm gonna have enough space for them to be soldered. Yeah, okay, they look good. Alright, let me solder the two wires together. Alright, so I wanna crimp the wires together. Crimp them. Once I crimp them, I wanna solder them together. Let's see if it's gonna be. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think they got soldered. I think, yeah. No, they didn't. All right, let's try and crimp them together one more time. All right. All right, let's take a look right now. They're soldered together. And no, they're not soldered together. Why is it so hard? Because there's still some insulation there remaining. Maybe I should run a wire between the two. Maybe I should crimp them together even closer. The insulation is quite good. All right, you know what? Yeah, let's do. Yeah, the insulation is good enough that it doesn't let me solder anything there. Let's find a wire that will let me solder the connection together, bridge the connection together. Alrighty. All right, let's take a look right now. And it seems like everything's soldered together just fine. All right. You want to cut the excess off. All right. Good job. Good job. Yeah, that's how I soldered it. Now the connection is solid between the two wires, so everything should be conducting the electricity just fine. So the point is now to plug this guy in and hot glue everything on top of it. Alrighty, so I did plug in the plug into the connector. Those guys are connected. So now the goal is to pour the hot glue onto the to insulate these guys here, the two cables, and pour some hot glue all around the connector so that it will be held in place and won't be coming off the motherboard ever. So yeah, I mean, the way to take this guy off in the future is to use another hot glue gun and just put some hot glue right here. Just move the hot glue from like all around here, and it's gonna melt the hot glue, and everything is gonna come off. So the hot glue could be remelted. That's the situation. But yeah, so the connector is soldered. Even though it's broken, it's soldered in. This guy is connected and sitting quite well, but I just want to be 100% sure that nothing gonna fall apart, and I want to insulate this guy in the back right there. So let's see if the hot glue gun, the hot glue is not ready yet. All right, I hope it's hot enough. Let's see. We want to hold this guy in place. Not hot enough. Nope. All right, let's try again. Oh, come on. Yeah, the hot glue gun takes forever. Maybe it's not functioning properly. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. All right, one more time. Yeah, finally. Finally. All right, so that's how we insulate the cables here. And let's make sure. What we're gonna do is we're gonna melt this portion here. All right, on the side. Let's connect this guy here. All right. And I keep putting the pressure on top of it. All right. Let's do this guy here. Okay. And I just want to keep the pressure up, just to make sure that everything is conducting the electricity between the pin and the port. I keep pressure up, keep pressure up. All right, still need to keep the pressure up. All right, let's do the other side a little bit better. Okay. All right. All right. Uh-oh. All right, so now it's ooh. Now it has to harden, and then we're gonna test it to make sure everything works. Alrighty. So that's my anesthetic solution that requires a whole bunch of hot glue. All right, so and yeah, the bracket, I can't really do much about the bracket. All right, so looks good to me. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. And the repair took a lot longer than I anticipated. Let's put down this guy here. But I hope everything's gonna work because the connector is brand new. All right, we only had one screw right here. All other screws are missing connections. And here is another screw, which probably might not even be. Well, let's see if we can screw it right in here. Yep. Okay. So the client didn't send his adapter along. Let's see if we're gonna have the battery charging icon. All right, so I connect my own Asus 11.8 amps power supply. And let's see if okay, so what I need to do is I need to squeeze everything a bit harder right here. Okay. Usually I don't see a problem with those laptops. All right. Let's see. All right, we got the battery charging light right there. Now, the biggest problem here is sometimes the client's inside of the plug, inside right there, gets a lot of oxidation, like yellowish. If you see a yellowish hue right there, that's the reason why the jack went bad. So when the clients don't send their power supply to us, and they get the laptop back and they start to saying, you know, give me my money back because nothing works. The reason nothing works because the tip of the plug right there inside has a yellowish hue, basically a whole bunch of oxidation. And that's the reason why the jack goes bad in the first place. And when they start to wiggle it again, basically they get it back, they get mad at me saying, oh, it's called the ROG Zephyrus. Okay, that's called ROG Zephyrus. All right, so and we got Republic of Gamers, and I just want to see if, yeah, right there we got the icon that shows that it's charging. And I hope I'm just gonna leave it like that, and hopefully it's gonna charge all the way. Yeah, all right. Maybe I could just shut it down. No need to. Let's see if the keyboard's working, touchpad works. Okay. All good. Yeah. What I'm gonna check is the Wi-Fi is also picking up. Okay. And then I'm just gonna shut it down, leave it to charge, and I will check tomorrow morning if the battery is charged all the way. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is the model right here. And leave a like if it's not too much trouble. Take care, stay safe, have a good day. Bye.